today to share a podcast in praise of men. And I'm calling this amalgamation of thoughts, this essay spoken out loud. Do you know what it feels like for a man? And I don't know if you remember back in the, I don't know when it was, the 90s, I used to be really into Madonna. And she had a song that was entitled, Do You Know What It Feels Like for a Boy? So anyway, this has inspired me because I'm a woman and I have a lot of female friends. And growing up as a girl, at the beginning, boys are like a real mystery. When I was really little girl, they're just, they played differently to me. And I grew up with a bigger brother as well, which is an advantage. And I did notice, and so did he, that our play preferences were really very different. In fact, they were really quite opposite. And then growing up, there's the mysterious and sudden interest in the opposite sex, I remember, in the teenage years, which has continued to the day. And I've always been, I think, in a really privileged position to have mainly always worked with men. So I used to work in IT, in web design, and these internet consultancies, when they started to crop up in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I used to be around a lot of men in a corporate environment. And then for the past many, many years, I've been teaching leadership, training systems, assisting alongside leadership processes in a corporate environment where it has mainly been more masculine, dominant. The senior leadership teams and so on. Mainly men. There's more balance with women, but mainly the groups that I have served have usually been men. And once again, in this privileged position that I've been able to serve in, I've been working with men, and I've taken the time to really take an interest and learn about their world and ask them and listen. Now I'm married to a wonderful man who's my best friend. I've been able to be privy into the inner thoughts and the inner chambers of a man's world. And it's these that I would like to offer, really, from the intention of compassion. And I say this because men have a lot of energetic baggage that they carry simply by the default of being male. The sad association is that men create wars, men kill, men rape, men destroy, men hurt. And there are so many unfortunate and negative associations with being a man that men have themselves told me. I'm only sharing what I've heard from men personally, that if I were to put myself in the empathy shoes of being a man, I could imagine that must feel like a heavy burden to be able to survive these labels and somehow create a real, authentic construct of what it must mean to be a man. And I'm interested to hear from you, men. What does it feel like to be you? What does it feel like? What is life like from your shoes and from your perspective? And I think that if more of this is known, it would do so much to positively harmonize some misconceptions and maybe misperceptions that may be held by women towards men, or even men towards women. It's a heavy burden to carry, I've heard personally from the men in my life. And I can see that these labels are challenging to navigate and to create some kind of identity that is healthy and maybe neutral around these choppy waters that have been, well, you just turn on the news, you just listen to some things, and sadly there's a lot of negative press there against men, and I'm not denying that these things happen, of course they happen, but it doesn't mean that every man is bad and wants to hurt people and is aggressive. No, I do leadership facilitation work, which is essentially just processes that help groups of people, whether they're male or female or anything in between, to really just get to know themselves better. And when there is that self-awareness, then there is easier relationship and communication with other. And this knowing work comes from within. It comes from knowing myself first, and everything that comes with that identity, and then how I engage and how I relate to others. What this work has taught me, and what my life has taught me, is that really underneath it all, I think we're all quite made of the same stuff. We're all quite similar. We've got different energies, yes. We've got different energies. We need different kinds of activities and engagement, definitely, to challenge the various different facets. But deep down, in terms of relating and communication, I just feel that everybody needs to be listened to and needs to be allowed and needs to be respected. So these elements I will group as the idea of intimacy. And I'm suggesting that despite all of these labels, can we go beneath them all, and can we go beyond them all into a space that really is universal. It's the space of heart, into the heart space where these differences are not there. And can we relate more from this heart space and see each other with a softer focus, and maybe without these ideas, such that we would be able to communicate and see each other more, perhaps as we truly are. And my intention in my service of leadership, and for me leadership is a business way of saying personal development and relationship with myself, and therefore my relationship with others, with my team, with the people that I lead. As I feel it starts within, it's an inside job. So coming back to having and inviting a kind and forgiving, a positive, gentle relationship with myself, no matter what all the other people in my group have done before me. But just right now, in this moment, can you enter into a space of allowing just your own innocence and your being just to be there and be seen and felt by you? Because when I'm in communication or engagement with men, this is why I really felt I needed to make this podcast and this essay today. I personally feel so much respect for men. I really, really love men. I actually really enjoy male company very much. I feel very relaxed, very at home, very welcome in male company, and I feel it's important as a woman to say, men, I appreciate you, respect you, value you so much. And if you're a man and you're listening to this and you understand that somebody of the opposite sex really respects you and gets you and sees things from your perspective with your help to communicate that, how does that feel? Like, how does that make you feel? Imagine if all women, or most women, were to just know that you guys are like these amazing, amazing, valuable beings with these really unique attributes and specialities that are so helpful and balancing to us as women, that create such a harmony. This is how I see it, and I feel it's of value and of service to share just how much I love, appreciate and value men. And growing up without a father and that male figure in my life has made me appreciate this all the more. So I raise my cup of tea, my glass up to you, and I want to say thank you for being a man today, in the context of today, of this world, with all these news, with all these things. Thank you for being a man and standing in that very courageous place. I really want to thank you and acknowledge you today. Bye-bye for now.